Good morning, everyone. Good morning to my friends, my Wednesday friends. Hello. I'm so glad you're here with me. Thank you for spending another Wednesday morning with me. I love being with all my aspiring artists, all of you watercolorists out there. I love it. Please tell me hello so that we can take a few minutes at the beginning and I can just say hi to all of you and thank you for hopping on here. And oh yeah. Oh, sorry, I was getting a prompt. Took me a second there. So I am, let's see, what is going on here? Here we go. Okay. This is just taking a minute to get going here. Okay, hello everyone. Date lunch with Queen Bee. Oh, how hilarious. Hello, Heather from Ohio. Thank you for that. Carol in Missouri, hello. Carolyn, hello. I can't wait for Wednesdays either. I love this. I love meeting with you guys. I especially love seeing what you're making. It's my favorite thing to do. And I love seeing your take on some of these things. So when I give you projects and I give you incentives and I give you ideas, you just take it to the next level. And then I love that. Hello, Vicky. Happy to see you. Hello, Sandy. Southwest Florida. Oh, wow. It must be blistering hot there. Cheryl, yes, it is Phil's birthday today. So he is celebrating this birthday today. So be sure to leave him a comment in here. If he's not on right now, he will be on later. So he'll be able to see the comments on here. So we are going to celebrate his birthday today. You get to be our age and you're just thankful for every birthday. And I have spent so many years absolutely hating my birthday. I hate it. I love the day after my birthday. But, anymore, I'm thankful for every birthday I have. I am so thankful. I am 64 now and thankful for 64 years that I've gotten to have. So, I have a little different take on it now. Hello, Terry from Virginia. Hello. Good to see all of you. Lorna, hello from Ohio. Hello. Barbara is watching. Hello, Barbara Meyer. Hello, Dee. Good to see Dee on here. Dee is a fabulous artist. Love seeing her work. So many fabulous artists, you guys. I absolutely love seeing your work. Hello, Sandy. Hello, hello, Anne. Hello to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a Halloween project. So those of you who have watched tutorials, I love Halloween. I love doing Halloween projects. So I have one today and I was in my closet trying to figure out what to wear. And I saw this and it reminded me of a spider web. So it's not a spider web. It's actually an animal print. But I thought, that could just be perfect to wear today. So that will give you a hint as to what our project is. Tina, I'm the same age as you, Bonnie. Oh, yes. How are we in our 60s? I don't know. 60 was hard. 65 will be really hard, but I think 66 probably will be harder because I'm getting really close to 70. But again, you know what? We're not going there because we're thankful for every year. So I'm not doing that. Hello, Jane. How are you? Hello, Marianne. Hello, Sherry. Thank you for watching. Thank you, all of you, for watching. So I'm going to just take a minute and show you what I'm going to be using. So those of you who want to follow along with me, it's a very simple amount of stamps. Like I'm going to be using this guy. I haven't used this in a while and I love it. So we're going to be using this stamp set, this window right here. So if you want to follow along with me, get that out. We're also going to be using this little veggie set. So the pumpkin, my favorites, the little pumpkins. We're going to make some little jack-o'-lanterns. This one, so the wall texture set. We're going to be using this one, and I'm actually using this one here on the end. We're going to be using that one. And the rest of it is just some branches, from the branches set. This little guy up here, we're going to be using that one on the branches set. And really, that is it. Oh, foliage. This one. So this little branch right here in the middle, we're going to be using that one. But really, this project is not going to take a lot of, it's not going to take a lot of stamps. So I do love those projects that are super simple and easy to do. So I'm really excited to get going here. Let me say a hi to a few other of you. It's 7 p.m. Oh, wow. Hello, Natalie. Hello, Martha from South Carolina. Terry just bought this stamp. Yes, this one is super versatile. I'm going to do it again for Christmas because it's so fun to decorate. It really is. It's really fun. I'm going to show you a little different take on it for this one for Halloween. Barbara just reached my 70th last year. Fought colon cancer. Oh, wow. Two years prior, it was long. Oh, my. Every birthday I feel blessed. Yes, Barbara. Wow. Thanks for putting that into perspective. Exactly. We are so thankful for every day that we have. It really is true. Just an extra blessing. So we celebrate our birthdays because of that. Okay, you guys, are you ready to get started here? I'm going to switch my camera around. Cross my fingers. I don't cut all of you off. I don't know why this is just such a big, terrifying thing to me every time. So I will get myself switched over here and we will get going on our projects. So here is what we're going to be doing. Let me just move this over a little bit here and get you more centered. Move my... Okay, so here we go. Here is actually the project, okay? I love this little window, as you can see. Now it doesn't have shutters. We're going to be putting those in, but look at the difference it makes when we put those shutters in. It really, really changes it up, doesn't it? I love doing that. I love making little changes to these things, and that's part of the reason why I make them really simple, because I love to make them versatile, and I love to make them so that you can use them for holidays. I just think that is the funnest thing. So I really left this simple, especially on the inside, and now we can add some shutters in there and some broken ones, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Make this look kind of old and rustic. Now this set also comes with dies. It comes with these two little dies, so you get this really cute railing. Now on this one, here's the railing. Here's actually what it looks like cut out. I cut it down because I didn't want to have like all this space down here. And if I would have put it on here full size, I would have covered my little pumpkin faces. So I didn't use the whole thing. I just cut it down, and I think it looks really cute like that. So you have that option. You're not always just, boxed into the way that things are, the way that the stamp is made, the way that the dies come out. You can trim this up, and you can use different variations of it. Okay. So this little one comes in here, and I just popped it out right in front of my little pumpkins, and I made it small so that I wasn't covering up their little faces, which I think makes a big difference. Here's another version of it. So I know some of you are not big fans of Halloween. Maybe you don't like jack-o'-lanterns. Maybe you just don't really like Halloween. You want to do something more fall related. Here's another variation of it. You can put the little cat on the windowsill with a little pumpkin. That would be cute. And maybe just add a little spider up here if you want to. I'm going to show you how to make this little spider. So cute. So you can do that if you want to. And I added a little blue in here, more for fall. So it's not as spooky as this one. I mean, there's no spooky eyes back in here. So it is more like a fall theme. So there are ways that you can change these things up so that they're not, so that they're more to your style and more to your liking. So keep that in mind. And with this one, I could use the whole thing. And what I did was just drop it down a little bit. So the way that the stamp is made is you have this box down here, but you have a lot of freedom with this box. So it could be a window box, or it could be a landing. So where you put your little railing, it really doesn't matter. You've got a lot of space in here where you can put your railing. So also makes it more versatile. Now here's the other one that comes in it, and I just stuck it onto this one. And I think this one's really cute too. It's more three-dimensional, so you can kind of see how this kind of bows out here. And all I did was pop it out with a little foam dot and glue the little edges down. And you've got a really cute little, more of a, Parisian looking little railing here. So also cute too. So, and this one you could cut down as well. So keep that in mind when you're making these things, that you can modify them to fit your project and make it, more to your liking or to your style. So today we're going to be doing this little project because I do love Halloween. I love jack-o'-lanterns. I love making them, and I love making spiders. I absolutely love them. I don't want them in my house, and I don't know about you guys, but this time of the year, I am seeing spiders coming in my house. Lots of little spiders. So they're not welcome here, but I do like to draw them. So I do think that's kind of fun. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So here's what we're going to need in order to do this project. I went over it a little bit, but I'll go over it again for you. So here is the Ornate window set, and it comes, the dies are included. So you get both of those, these dies included in this little set. So we're going to be using this one. In the new watercolor veggies, we're going to be using the pumpkin. So you can actually put whatever you want on this little landing. You could make it fall, and you could put a little basket with some of these little, veggies in it. That would be so cute. So keep in mind, you have a lot of space in here to put things on here. And then when you pop that little railing out, I just think it's so cute. Just looks so cute. So we're going to use this pumpkin. And then the wall texture set, I picked this one. You could use any of these, absolutely any of them. I haven't used this one in a long time, so I thought I'm going to pick that one. But any of them will work. And then we need kind of a dead branch. And again, there's no reason why you can't use any of these. You can use any of them. I don't know why I'm more partial to this little one. I feel like I have a little more control, and I wanted to add some dead leaves to it too. So I picked that one. And then in foliage set 4, this little branch with the leaves, we're going to make our little dead dried up leaves around this little window with that. And I told Kendra I'm using the Kendra dots on this one. When it comes to fall, there's a lot of dead leaves and things, but there's also a lot of seeds around. So little dots, little brown dots really sort of give you that impression, I think, that it's fall. So out of the Bible journaling foliage set 2 is this one, and we're going to be using the Kendra dots. Now, the reason they're called Kendra dots is because Kendra has been asking me for years to do a stamp of dots, and I could not understand why she wanted dots, but she would ask me all the time, Mom, please, could you do a stamp of dots? I'm like, why don't you just make the dots with a fine tip? But I really get where she's coming from, because you can get variations of color. So just like you stamp it over and over, you get that light to dark variation, and it really does make a difference. So if you look at this one up close, see how dark these little dots are here, and see how light these ones are here. So these are more in the background. So it really does add a lot of depth. And I have, been so glad I've made those. And actually I've used them quite a bit. So hooray for Kendra. She won out on that one. And that was a big win for everyone. Okay, so I have stamped my project. I feel like this kind of moves things on a little bit more quickly. And I'm going to try to zoom in here just a little bit and see if I can't get a little closer up and still fit this in the screen so that you can see. I have stamped this in 2 colors. So this time I have stamped it in the brown first. So this is 969. And then I stamped over it again in the N25. So I use these 2. Normally we're using the dark blue, the brown and the dark blue, but I want to have more of a, a cooler look, more of a gray, a little bit more gray, and, that looks a little bit more like fall. and especially around the window when we pull those colors out and to create the wall, since we're using that wall texture. So I did the brown first and then I did the black. And I think that turned out really well. So try that combination. You can use the brown and the blue. You absolutely can. And especially if you're doing a fall scene that isn't, super spooky, you could definitely use the blue with the brown like we normally do. I also did not stamp this one off because I want to have more color in the lines as I pull that color to the outside. That's what creates the look of the wall. So this background color is where we get this from these lines. So we just kind of want a mix of color. We want the idea of the wall so that it doesn't look like the window is kind of, hanging out in space. Obviously the window is part of a wall. So we want to show that back in here, and that's where we're getting that variation of color. Okay, so we are ready to get going here. I'm going to put in my basic images now, and that would be the little pumpkins. So I'm going to just stamp these in here, and I think I will just get a piece of scrap paper. So here is a piece of scrap paper that I used before, and I'm just going to ink this now with the dark brown and use my actually, since I'm using my positioner, I don't need some scratch paper right now. So let me just clean off this. Let me see if I have one that's a little cleaner. I use these little acrylic plates so much, and I usually have multiples of them so that I can, so I don't have to erase stuff. I don't have to clean stuff off, especially things that I use all the time. I don't have to clean them off, but in this case, I've got a lot on here, so. And the way these work, for those of you who have not used a positioner, the little acrylic plate goes up into the corner, just like this. And then you're going to ink your stamp, and I'm just using the dark brown. And I'm just going to place it in the corner, just like that. And now since I've stamped it on here, that's sort of like stamping it off. So I can just stamp it on here now without stamping it off again. And I think I'm going to turn it a little bit just to give it a little more interest, and then stamp it in here. And now I'm going to put the second one in, and maybe I will turn this one maybe like this. That looks good, to give it a little more interest. Now you can see I'm going to stamp over the top of that, so let me just get a little piece of Post-it tape just to cover that up. And then I can go back in here like so. And then if I just huff on it, I'll be able to get another impression here. Okay, so I've got my two little pumpkins in the window. If they're not perfect, it doesn't matter. If you like them straight, that also does not matter at all. You just put them in there the way that you like them in there, and they are good to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by pulling the color out of the lines, and then we'll get our foliage and branches and everything in. The stones on the wall, that is the last thing we do. At the very end, we put these stones in. So that's the final detail. Okay, so now I'm gonna dip my brush in water and pinch it off as we always do, and I'm going to pull some of this color out. Now, do you see that darker color that is coming out? That's from the black. And I'm just going to kind of drag this color now to the outside. And then down in here, this kind of, recesses down in here. This is like a little frame, around this window. And the same here with this one too. So we're going to come alongside, and that's going to kind of drop that down inside this little opening. Same here. You can see how just pulling the color out of the lines just begins to make things look more three-dimensional. This too, and this too. Okay, good start. So let's just do the same with these little pumpkins. Let's just pull some of this color out just lightly. We're going to add some orange to them, so we don't have to do a ton. We're just kind of starting. And then I'm going to just take some of this color out at the top also and just kind of bring that out to the top. And this is going to give us a little background. It kind of cements this down, you know, this image down to the wall. And makes it look like it's part of the wall. Okay, so let's put in our little shutters, and we're going to do that with a pencil. So make sure you have a fine tip pencil. I don't know why I'm partial to these, but I absolutely love these pencils. Make sure it's really a sharp point. And I just bought these on Amazon. They're actually pretty cheap, but I'm so partial to them. I just pick these up every time. Now you can make your little shutters, you know, whatever size you want. You can make them really narrow like this, or you can make them a little bit longer. Just make sure they're straight, and you can kind of line this up, you know, with your ruler. So you could, you know, put it next to a dark line like this, and then you can, you know, pretty much tell that it's straight. So I'm just going to kind of drop these down. Now they don't have to be perfect. Don't worry about measuring. You know, I certainly would not measure these, but you can, if it would really bug you that they're not the same, you certainly can measure them and just put little dots in. But I'm just eyeballing it here. And just all the way down, just keep going all the way down until the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to do one more line right in between here. And what this is going to do is kind of separate our shutters so that they can open. Isn't that cute? I think that just changes everything to do that. I think that is so fun. So let's go on to the next detail now, and we're going to make these rustic. And I've showed this before, but it's such a fun little trick, and there's really nothing to it. So what we're going to do is let's just say we want to create a little hole here and make this little shutter look like it's broken. So we're going to just make a little line, and I'll hold this up so that you can see. We're going to make a little line there, and then another little one that comes over like this. So do you see that? We're just coming right along that line. We're coming right along this line because we want to see this edge. We want to see the edge of the wood. That's what we're showing here. And then this part here will be colored in. So let's do another one, and let's just do this one here maybe. So we're going to put the edge in, and then we're going to make another one that looks like it's kind of broken out. And then this one here, maybe one of these up here, we'll just completely take out. So we'll just put this line up here. We'll just take that out, and it'll just look like it's all broken. And maybe this one down here too. This is the one we're going to put those eyes in. So let's just make two little circles here. So we've got those creepy little eyes in the background. So it kind of looks like this. So you're basically creating the edge of the wood. You're making this wood look three-dimensional is what you're doing by putting this little line in right underneath, and then just a little diagonal line over here. So we're going to just kind of break out this little area. So I'm going to do that with my Micron pen. I'm using this one because it's not water soluble, so it's not going to bleed. We want this little opening to be really, really dark back in here. So we don't want this to bleed out and this black to bleed. So I'm just going to now just color this area in. Be sure to leave that little edge. And you can see, let me hold this up again. You can see that little edge and see how that looks like it's all broken out in there. It's such a fun little trick, you guys. It's so fun. You can make anything look rustic. I think that's probably part of the reason I like Halloween too, is I love making things look old and like falling apart, and it's just so fun. Okay, see this one too? We just broke that right out. Just broke it right out. So now here with these little eyeballs, we're just going to color around them, and we're going to break out this whole section so we can see the little eyes in here. And I'm just using this really fine tip. So this one is this is an 01 for little tiny details like this. And just, you know, color this in. And if you get some water on it, it's going to be fine because it's not going to bleed. And the fun thing about these little eyeballs is that you can kind of direct the look anywhere you want it to go. So you can have it looking up here at maybe a spider. You can have it looking down here at these pumpkins. So let's just put these eyes looking down. So wherever you put those little dots, you can have them looking straight up. Just put the little dots up here. You can put them over here, looking this direction, anywhere you want them to look. And then maybe let's just break out this one down here so that it's completely broken out. And you know what? I kind of feel like maybe just making a little opening here too. You can just do as much of this as you want. I think that is so fun. Okay, see how easy that was, you guys? There's just nothing to this. It is so easy and just really, really fun. Now we can put some little door handles on here too. I mean, this is not the focal point, so you're just doing the idea of it. So don't stress out about that at all. That's not a big deal. Okay, so let's keep going here, and let's do our pumpkins. So I'm going to add some orange. This is my favorite orange, the 933. And we're going to add some color to our little pumpkins. Remember, these are contoured, so that just means they're round, so they're going to need a highlight. And also a highlight kind of at the top too. So keep that in mind. The color is going to be darkest at the bottom, always at the bottom and the sides. And, you know, just leave those white spaces. What happens when you leave these white spaces is you give this little object texture. That's where the light is bouncing off. And when it's all one color, it's not only flat, but it's smooth. It doesn't have any texture to it. And you can show that just by leaving some white spaces. It's just kind of one of those things that you just have to make a habit of doing. And you're going to be so much happier with it if you do that. If you just remember that, you don't have to worry about where the light's coming from or anything. Just remember in your mind, I need a highlight, and it's going to be darker at the bottom and the sides. And, you know, as you add color, you know, the more passes you make, the darker that color is going to get. So you can just keep going darker and darker. Now I'm going to take my little twin tone, and I'm just going to really darken these little stems. This is something I do every time. I think it just really, really pops them out when you add this dark color in here. Just get that really, really dark in there. So cute. And now we can take this pencil line off of these little eyeballs too. How cute are they? So fun. Now you wouldn't have to even put faces on these little pumpkins if you don't want to. You could put pumpkins on this little window and foliage and stuff all around, and you could just leave the faces off too. So let's do our little pumpkin. I always make these big smiles with lots of teeth. And then just darken these in. You know, and you can color that in dark, you're really going to see things become more three-dimensional. And let's just do this little guy. And maybe he's just got a couple of little teeth here. Maybe one right here. I don't know why the pumpkins are just the funnest thing to me. I love making these little guys. And they, you know, they all turn out different every time. They always turn out different. Okay, so we've got our little jack-o'-lanterns on there. So let's get some color now onto our window. And I'm going to use this kind of sagey green. This is a 228. I really like this color. It's kind of a mix. If you don't have this color, it is really a mix of this blue, the 249, and a little bit of the blue, the dark blue. So you could mix those two together and then really lighten it up, and it would almost make this color. But it's kind of a cool green, and it just kind of reminds me of fall. And it's a really pretty color when you go to brush it on, especially something like this. It looks a little weathered, kind of weathered. So now I'm going to brush this on, and actually I'm just going to add a little bit of blue to it, just so that I get a mix of color. So some of these little slats might have more blue, some of them might have more green, and you can see that I am not coloring this in solid. Again, here's the whole thing about things looking rustic is that they have texture. They're not going to be smooth. They're going to be really weathered. And you're going to show that just by adding the white spaces, leaving those white spaces. So some of these down here, maybe a little more blue. Down in here, and then we can go back in, especially up in here where we're going to see more of a shadow from that overhang. And the same here too. So as soon as we get a little more color in here, we'll put our shadows in. So in these little cracks, we can add a little more color in here. It's going to be just a little bit darker. So just kind of go in here. And then we can add some back in here too. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of color in here. And maybe just a little bit in here. I mean, this whole window is just kind of weathered, and it's, you know, it's got a little color left on it, but not a lot. And we're going to add a lot of foliage and leaves to it anyway. So underneath here, anywhere that you think is, you know, coming forward or is an overhang, that's going to have a shadow. So that just means it's going to have a dark line. And you can see how that just gives it depth. Now we can come in here with this shutter and just put a dark line along here, and a dark line along here. And you see how that sets this back into the window. It really just kind of sets it back. And we can do a little bit on this side too. And then more under here. And I'm just putting a little more color on here. This is the fun part, you know, just adding this color in and just making it look kind of rustic and kind of old. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we're ready to move on. And we're going to add our little branches and whatnot in here. So I'm going to use the dark brown with this one. And I'm just going to start by just kind of putting it in, you know, and I can just hang some over, you know, over these little shutters, like it's just growing kind of out of, just growing, kind of growing all over the place. And we can put some up here. And then, you know, hanging over this way. We can put some hanging over like that. And then actually we could put some in here. Maybe some down here. As much of this as you want. I mean, it's pretty hard to overdo it. I mean, I guess you could, but you can put as much of this in as you want. And you can always go back and add more too, if you want to. If you feel like, you know, I want a little more foliage in here, then you can go back and do that. So I'm going to start out with the green on these leaves, and I'm just going to ink a few because, you know, the leaves are all falling off of here. So we don't really want to have a ton of leaves in here. We want it to look pretty sparse. So I'm just inking a few of this one little part of the branch here. And maybe we'll just put one up there. Okay, so now I'm just going to clean that off. I've got a baby wipe over here. I'm just going to clean that off and then use my brown now. So here's my brown, and I'm going to kind of do the same thing and just add some brown. And you can see I'm really turning my canvas, my little paper around here a lot. It's so much easier to stamp that way than to try to turn your hand. Let's see, where else do we want something in here? Like I said, you can always go back and add some more in here. Okay, I think we're getting there. So let's go ahead and add some water to this, and then we'll kind of see where we're at, if we need to add any more to it. Now I'm just dabbing here, just randomly, because you know, I want some of these branches to kind of soften up a little bit and kind of all blend together. And we kind of want that idea of broken branches and, you know, dead leaves and that kind of idea. So I'm just kind of dabbing all over with my brush. So always pinch it off and kind of mix in, you know, some things you want to maybe leave more defined. Other things you can add more water to, and just kind of see how it comes together. But it does come together, you guys. It always does. Sometimes you think, wow, I totally bombed that. And I do too, a lot of times. But you know what? It eventually comes together. It really does. I'm going to add just a little bit of brown and a little bit of that black to my palette. And I'm just going to put a little more of this color onto the wall. Just a little bit, lightly, just super light. And I can pull some of this color down too from these little branches, because we still got to put in our wall texture. We also would have a shadow underneath here. So we can kind of draw that in a little bit too. So I'm getting this little variation of color in here, And you can tell, you can see I'm just kind of mixing color from, you know, the black and the brown and the green. Okay, so let's go on and let's make that little web up in here and that little spider. So you want to start with a center point, you know, wherever it is. And this is, you know, kind of an opening here. So we could make a little web in this opening. So you want to start with a center, and then you want to pull that, you know, make these little web anchor points here. So just like that. And they're pulling to the center. So your little lines are going to be curved, you know, as they kind of come forward. And just do this light. You know, you don't want to make this too heavy. You know, they're almost, you know, when you're looking at them, they're really kind of hard to see. So we don't want it to be, you know, too bold. Okay, so we got our little web in there. Now your little spider is just a little, kind of a little half circle like this. And his little legs are going to have a bend. And you just want to get 8 of them in there. Can you see that? They're just so cute. They're just so fun. And we can put another little one. We can put another little spider up here, actually. Let's just do that. So, and again, I'm using my black pen that won't blend. Putting little joints in really makes a difference with these little spiders. So there's another little one. Cute. So cute. And we can actually, we could probably just hang one here. We've got a little spider hanging down from the bottom. But practice drawing these. They are so fun. They really are. Now, if you want a bigger spider, a bigger one, you know, let's just say you want more of a focal point. You could actually get some little eyes in here like this. You want another joint. And maybe he's, you know, waving up here. Maybe he's got his little arms up here. But they are just, they're so fun to do. Just be sure to get those joints in there. I think that adds a lot of character to them. Okay, so let's keep going here. And I'm just going to just, you know, get a few little dark lines in here, especially where this little thing is kind of broken out. I always go back and do this, you know, just to get a few little accent points in, because that dark color really, really makes a difference. Okay, so let's put in our wall texture now. We're going to do that with this, and we're just going to use a gray. So this is an N65, just a, you know, a light gray is what you're going to need, and then you're going to want to use your positioner. So let me see if I have I clean this off here. Okay, so I'm going to put that into my little T-square, L bar, and I'm going to ink this up with the gray. And I'm just going to stamp it into the corner just so that I can see exactly where I want it. And actually that looks pretty good right there. And I can huff on it. And stamp it in just like that. Now I'm going to turn this upside down because I don't want it to look identical to this one. So I'm going to turn it upside down and do this one over here. And I think this one looks pretty good, just like that. And I think I can just huff on it again and stamp this one in. Yep. Now there's not a lot you have to do with these little stones. It's just the idea that they are stones. So you could come in here if you want to make them a little more three-dimensional. Remember how to do that? It's just adding color to the bottom so that it pops them out and makes them look three-dimensional. So when you add a little color to the bottom, you make them more rounded. You could put just a little bit of color under them too. But you know, this is not a big deal. It's just, you know, it's always just the idea of things. Okay, so we've got our little stones in, and I think I'm going to add just a little more of this foliage in here. I kind of feel like I just don't have enough. So I want to add a little bit more, and maybe just a little bit more up here. And if you like that, kind of like that definite, you know, image of the leaves, you don't have to add that much water to it. And you can also, you know, with this little spider, if you just go through here and just make a little line next to it, you can bring that away from the wall. See how that just kind of popped this little guy out, just putting a little shadow behind him, just like that. You could do that with any of these little branches because we do have something behind. And when you have something it's on the wall, you're going to see that shadow on the wall. So any of these little things that are kind of hanging down, if you just come through here and just make just a little shadow on here, you can see how that just pops everything out. And I'm just going to go in here now really dark, and I'm just going to add a little blue in here and really darken the side of these shutters, just this edge. And I'm kind of, you know, I've got a little mix of color here. I'm just getting this really dark. And that's just going to, again, just kind of set those little shutters back into the background. Okay, you guys, I think let's do the dots. That will be the last step. Let's do the little Kendra dots. And we can just kind of put these wherever. I mean, as much of this as you want. Let's see, maybe some there. Cute. And done. Sign and date. Oh, so let's put our little railing on. So you can see this is the one that I cut. So here's the original size. But you can see what would happen. You know, if we put this up here, see how that would just block their little faces? You wouldn't be able to see them at all. I mean, we could put it way down here, but that would be really, really long. So I just cut it off. And I think that is really good right there. I think that's so cute. And then we can just pop this out. And I just used a little foam dot, just like this. And put it in the corner. You really can't see it. I mean, you could cut it down a little bit if it really bugged you, but I don't think you even notice it. Whoops. Let's get this on here. And we'll just put these right on here. Is that straight? Okay, and we've got our little guys on there. How fun is that, you guys? Now you could put more webs on here too. So let's just say you want a web from the edge. So we did this little center one where the anchor point was in the center, but you could also do one here, and you could stretch this web out like this and kind of attach it wherever. And same idea, you're pulling this to the inside, to this anchor point here. I just love doing these webs. I think they're so cute. So cute. Okay, you guys, if you would like to have this, I'll be giving this one away too. And I'll give the cat away too. So if you have a preference between these two, if you would like the cat one, you're not into pumpkins, and jack-o'-lanterns, but you would like the cat, just indicate that. And if you don't care and it doesn't matter to you, or you really, really want the pumpkins, then indicate that one too. So I will be giving this away. Just put it in the comments. We always wait a couple of days so that we give everyone a chance that maybe can't watch on Wednesdays. Okay, and I am back with you guys. I hope you liked that tutorial. How fun was that? I hope you give it a try. I am going to move on now to possibly Christmas at the next one. I'm still kind of debating on that because, it is just September. So, but you know what? If it's September, Christmas is here. So it's going to come so fast. And, we got to get started early on our cards. So any last minute questions on anything? I see Leah is on here and she's posted the sets that I'm using. Anybody have any questions or anything that you want to know? Maybe you have an idea of something you want to see next time. Maybe you want like weeks and weeks of Christmas coming up, or maybe you want some more of the fall and Halloween. We still have, a month before Halloween. So please let me know in your comments if that is something that you would be interested in. And I will go back and check that out. So in the meantime, practice, practice, practice. You know what? It really makes a difference. All of these techniques are really, really easy. And there are some really fun tips to make your work look really realistic. And you can do that. You absolutely can. But to get really good and to get your own style, to see your own style come out, practice. Just practice, practice, practice. You know what? Take a piece of watercolor paper and make a ton of webs. Just practice your webs, or stamp that little pumpkin, 20 times, and practice adding the highlight and adding that dark color, on the sides and down below. It really, really will pay off. And if you need inspiration, holy cow, the stamp groups on Facebook are amazing. Carla's group has been around, I think, almost 5 years. And it's called the Art Impressions Stamp Group on Facebook. It's a private group. It's not our group. But these girls on there, these artists on there, what they are doing with watercolor is amazing. And they're super encouraging, super, helpful in tips and things that they post. So check that one out. There's a new group called the Art Impressions Way on Facebook, and it also is amazing. So you guys will get plenty of inspiration if you check those two groups out, both private. You have to answer a couple of questions, but they will happily and warmly accept you into their group, and it is so fun. I love to just cruise through there and just see what everybody's doing. It is so fun. And what I also love about it, I love reading the comments because they're so kind and so encouraging, and they're like, this is their community and they're all best friends. So, okay, you guys, I don't see any more questions. You're so welcome, Natalie. Thank you so much for your effort and awesome live streaming. Oh, good. I'm so glad you learned something. That's my goal every time. What can I teach you that you don't know? What's something new? What's a little trick that I can teach you that you can take away and kind of make your own? So, Yes, Deborah says all the artists in the group are awesome. They really, really are. And they are from A to Z. Some of them are beginners and some of them have been doing this technique for quite a number of years. But wow, the skill level is just amazing. And I think the skill level, but also the creativity, like what they're doing with these stamps, it is so fun to watch. It is just the best. So if you need inspiration, I mean, by all means, check out our Facebook, our Pinterest, our blog. Check out our blog. Our artists, on our blog are absolutely amazing. So check that out. We have some guest artists now this month. You'll have to check that out too. They are awesome. Okay, you guys. So enough being long-winded. My ruler. Okay, here is the ruler that I use. It's I have the simplest tools, you guys. This is a little simple 6-inch ruler. I love it because it's not too long. It's easy to manage. And when I'm doing these little projects, I just use this little see-through ruler and it works so great. I mean, you can buy these by, the dozen on Amazon. They're super cheap, or in your, bookstore. You can buy them anywhere. My pencil, this is a Staedtler. Again, this is a very simple tool. There's nothing special about it, really. I'm just partial to it. So I buy these by the box. The biggest thing about your pencil is to make sure that it's really sharp. That's probably the biggest thing. And then you can always erase those lines. If you're not sure and you're not sure about where you want to put things, put your pencil lines in and you can always erase them afterwards. So easy to use. My other, tool, really important tool, is my little sand eraser. This little handy tool will erase your boo-boos and your goofs. When you are watercoloring on your watercolor paper, this little handy thing works like a dream. So we have that on our website. This we do have on our website. We don't have the rulers or the pencils, but everything else is on our website. So check that out. Love to see how we are supposed to stamp the foxglove from the first flower set. Okay, Debbie, I will get that into a tutorial. Absolutely. Renee's doing an awesome job on the blog. Renee is a rock star. We are so thankful for her. She is managing our blog and our design team. She is amazing, has been with us for years, and she is so good. I love working with her. She has got an amazing group of designers. We are so grateful for them. So thankful for this team. It is just the best. So any questions, you can black, brown, orange, and green. Was that all? Let me see. The orange, 933. The green is this sagey green, 228. So this one. If you're using blue with your Halloween or with your fall, 526 is a really good one to use. That really warm, and it's because the orange and blue, they're complementary, so they work really well together. And then I just used the two colors to start my project. So obviously our 969, the dark brown, and then the black, the N25. It could be any black. This is an N25, but it could be any black. So the brown first, and then the black, and then don't stamp it off this time. And then just a simple gray to put in your texture, your wall texture. This is an N65, this one here. And that's it, you guys. That's it. I used this little micron. This is an 01 little micron pen. Make sure when you're doing these details, especially when you're cutting out, making these look rustic and you're creating little holes and, shutters that are broken open, make sure you're using a black pen that is not water-based so that it won't bleed. Because when you get some water on that, it's going to bleed and it's going to take away from that crisp line of, that black broken out piece of wood. You want that to be a crisp line, not blended. Okay, you guys, I don't see any more questions. It has been a joy and a pleasure hanging out with you. I absolutely love doing this. I love seeing you on here. I'm so thankful. We just love doing this technique and love teaching it to you. So if you think of anything else you may want to ask, go ahead and put it in the comments. Someone will see it and we will get an answer to you. And I will see you guys again next week. Thanks again so much for watching.